In 1912, the state legislature, in all their wisdom, decided to pass legislation that mandated that blacks and whites would not go to school together and that there would be segregated schools in Arizona. And I said that was odd because my mother was in Arizona when it was a territory, and she attended integrated schools in Tucson. I attended Dunbar in the 1st through the 9th grade. The teachers were the crowning glory of Dunbar, and they would teach us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you were wrong in school and you got a little beating, before you got home, they knew about it and you got another beating. Well, then I went to Tucson High. This is a very odd deal, Now the same law that said that I had to go to a segregated 1st through the 9th grade, when I was ready to go to high school, that same law, for some reason, did not apply because it wasn't economically feasible to have a separate high school for the few number of black students that they had. I used to sell the Arizona Daily Star. I was downtown selling papers, and I heard on the radio that they had bombed Pearl Harbor. Looking at the deal, and if you volunteered for the Army, then you got 1 week leave of absence before you started. If you volunteered for the Marine Corps, you got 2 weeks leave of absence before you started. So I figured I needed the 2 weeks. So I went into the Marine Corps. Basically, they had a black Marine Corps at Montfort Point. Camp Lejeune was a large camp, and Montfort Point was one smaller camp. And that was the first time that blacks had been in the U.S. Marine Corps. You had that piece. You don't call it a rifle, it's a piece, and that is like your master. You don't let it get wet, you don't let it get dirty, you don't let it get anything, And so that's the Marine Corps way. Got out of boot camp and we went out to Onslow Beach, and we came in on one of those landing barges where you jump off the barge and you got a 100-pound load of ammunition on your shoulder, and you go into about 4 feet of water, and it's about up to your nose, and you're trying to keep your piece dry, and you walk up the deal to the, up the beach and get everything down. And I told him, you know what? I'm very good at clerical work. I know how to type, and I know how to do things, and I'm gonna go and take this job in the personnel section. The University of Arizona may have been there, but most people who were coming up during the Depression had no hope of ever attending the University of Arizona. I think the GI Bill was the greatest piece of social legislation that was ever passed, and it had just a tremendous effect on the dynamics of how we grew in the USA and how we prospered and how we turned this into the greatest country in the world.